I'm shopping for different things, I love to shop small businesses. I like to shop from artisans and people that are making very unique items. Just so you know, when I'm walking around with my New York City drip, it's just, all me.
Driven.
Yeah.
Now, Black businesses in the U.S. they're opening at a rapid pace and they're thriving. So, what do you think? What do you think it is about the e-commerce platform that's really attractive to people of color?
I think Black people in general, we're always on our phones. Do you know that, especially when it comes to teenagers, African American teenagers actually that population has the biggest, or they are the biggest percentage users of mobile phones.
Okay.
So there's always mobile first. And then especially when you look across social media, Black adults are the largest social media users across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there's a reason that we're so digital first, which actually, if I may harken back to something one of our game changers told us a couple of episodes ago, harkening back to Africa. I'm not going to go all the way back to 1685 like he did, but I'm going to go back a little bit just to the continent, because Africa itself is a mobile first continent, right? So I don't know. Welcome to CultureBanx Game Changers, everyone, where we are bringing you the most interesting companies and the bosses behind them that are truly changing the game. I'm Corey Hale.
And I'm Ruth Umo. Today we're talking with the boss who's building the Etsy for diverse business owners. First though, let's get into the digital artisan market.
It's a very interesting market. When you think about Etsy, as you referenced earlier, which is all about like handcraft sort of markets, and you compare that to some of the bigger e-commerce players in the space like Amazon, which you're not really finding specific things. I mean, granted, I do like 2-day delivery, but sometimes you want things that are very curated, right?
Absolutely.
Highly curated. At least for me, when I'm shopping for different things, I love to shop small businesses. I like to shop from artisans and people that are making very unique items. Just so you know, when I'm walking around with my New York City drip, it's just, all me.
Driven.
Yeah.
Now, Black businesses in the U.S. they're opening at a rapid pace and they're thriving. So, what do you think? What do you think it is about the e-commerce platform that's really attractive to people of color?
I think Black people in general, we're always on our phones. Do you know that, especially when it comes to teenagers, African American teenagers actually that population has the biggest, or they are the biggest percentage users of mobile phones.
Okay.
So there's always mobile first. And then especially when you look across social media, Black adults are the largest social media users across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there's a reason that we're so digital first, which actually, if I may harken back to something one of our game changers told us a couple of episodes ago, harkening back to Africa. I'm not going to go all the way back to 1685 like he did, but I'm going to go back a little bit just to the continent, because Africa itself is a mobile first continent, right? So people aren't necessarily going into stores. They're not necessarily going into traditional banking, right? It's all done mobile first. And I think that is part of like intrinsic, like in our blood, as they like to say. We like this mobile first and this digital environment.
Absolutely. And I also think the barriers to entry are just lower on digital platforms, right? You don't have to put up money up front for brick and mortar stores and things of that nature. So it just really democratizes the small business sector.
No, it definitely does. Well, Ruth, we don't want to keep our people waiting too much longer, right? No, we won't. Next up, everybody, story retelling. Stay with me on the hyphens. Say, Corey, why are you talking so slow? I'm not talking slow. I'm just trying to give it to you the way you need it. Story retelling with the CEO of OneKin right after this. Make sure you stick with us on CultureBanx Game Changers.
We know entrepreneurs are some of the busiest people around. I mean, they're hiring, they're building, they're doing it all. We've been reading a lot of cool things about your company. But tell us, who does it benefit more, the lender or the borrower?
Well, Solo is a marketplace, so it actually has to benefit both.
Rohan, Barley Sober. This is the company that is going to revolutionize the bar industry, not just here in the US, but globally. Tell us why. Now, there's nothing worse than having your business disorganized, but no need to fear. We are here to help.
First though, let's get started with some entrepreneurial news that everybody should be aware of this week.
Welcome back to Game Changers. If you want to shop for products built by people like you, then our next guest has you covered. Joining us now is Marvin Francois, CEO of OneKin. Welcome, Marvin.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Marvin.
What's going on?
Well, we're very happy to have you. We see you brought us a host of products. But before we get into the products, Ruth mentioned earlier in the show that OneKin is essentially like the Etsy for creators, for business owners of colors. What can you tell us about OneKin?
Yeah, I think that's a fair characterization. On a very basic level, we are an e-commerce marketplace. So you think about your Amazons and Etsys of the world. Our customer base is as diverse as the world is. Our retailers are exclusively people of color. We're very intentional about elevating Black and brown brands. So we want to make sure we focus our platform on that audience. One thing that's also important to note about our platform is that it is curated. So we invest a lot of time, effort, and energy in making sure that we have the best brands, the best products represented on our platform.
Now, African American women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the US. Are you seeing that reflected on OneKin? You are.
1,000%.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so our pipeline of prospective retailers is about maybe 250 long. Most of those are women of color. The brands that we currently have represented on our platform, it's about 20. Those are mostly women of color, which is very exciting. And that also just kind of reinforces the whole curation process that despite having such a robust pipeline, we are literally spending a lot of time, like sometimes months,
Really?
deciding who gets to participate, because it's not just about testing the product. Like, you know, we care about the business holistically. We care about the story behind the brand. We care about supply chain considerations. So I'm very excited to see a woman of color leading that effort.
No, I mean, that sounds really good. I want to be able to also, though, Marvin, get into the products, but we'll have to do that on the other side.
Absolutely.
Joining us now is Rebecca Allen, CEO of Rebecca Allen Shoes. Thanks so much for having us and joining us with us.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
All right, let's go back a little bit to just really tell our viewers what Squad is, how they can grow their squad, and what this really means for authentically connecting with others.
Way back during my time in the Obama administration, we talked about healthcare, particularly from the Obamacare and a lot of the rules and regulations.
What about, the ability to take those online connections offline at scale? And so that was what Squad essentially is and does.
So tell us about how you've been leveraging the Obama network to help build your business.
All right, everyone, we're back with Marvin Francois from OneKin, talking all things e-commerce and culture. Marvin, let's get straight to the e-commerce.
Yeah.
What have you brought for us today?
Well, so these are a small selection of some of our favorite brands. So you have some skincare, some hair care, some facial products, full body care. We have a cotton spray. One of the consistent themes here is that these are all clean products. So I'm talking natural ingredients, plant-based oftentimes. And this is important. When I start thinking about when we started and the type of impact we wanted to have in this space, one of the biggest kind of points of interest for me were understanding the existing landscape and how products that women of color are consuming are impacting them. And one of the biggest takeaways I got from that was from the cosmetics to the hair care, a lot of these are actually problematic for reproductive systems. So I'm actually happy to introduce products that actually are beneficial for women across the spectrum.
Well, let's do a little talk and test. Can you pass some of these down?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we gonna do that?
Like that. You know,
Okay.
That might be a whole new segment.
All right.
Talk and test.
Okay.
I like that. What is that?
Ooh.
What is that, Marvin?
It's a spaceship.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So
Good
this.
packaging.
Yeah. This is an organic cotton spray.
Okay.
You
You gotta give it a spritz.
Cotton spray.
Cotton?
Cotton. Yeah.
I thought we had a little package.
You mind if I?
Go ahead.
What's it gonna do though?
I'm just a little spray.
A little spritz.
Tell me what you think about that.
Ooh, that smells
Oh,
good.
that's wait, but what do you use it like perfume?
So it's a cotton spray, so you can use
You
it.
spray it on cotton.
So you can use it on your fabrics. You can use it on your
pillowcase.
furniture, on your
Yeah.
pillowcase. I use it on my blazers.
Okay.
Oftentimes when I walk in rooms,
I'm gonna have
everyone's
to sniff you next time I see you.
everyone.
Floral.
Yeah, and it's a conversation piece.
Yeah.
It's a conversation piece, and it's 5 basic ingredients. I can't tell you what they are,
Okay, cotton.
but they're all natural.
What else? Hit us with something.
This is something that I use every single day.
Okay.
What's it called?
This is part of my facial routine. So this is the gentle cleanser. I have very sensitive skin,
Okay.
and I didn't know that until I was an adult.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I was using Dove and wondering why I was breaking out.
Right.
When I then officially got diagnosed, I started sourcing out products.
You get diagnosed with sensitive skin?
Yeah. Well, because and that like I was like my skin was literally breaking out, and there was
yeah.
nothing
Okay.
there was nothing that I could possibly
Okay.
use. Yeah.
Right.
So then I got prescriptions for my skincare routine, which were very expensive.
Right.
So then I was happy to finally find something that was inexpensive, black owned, and clean and organic. So I use this every single day, which is why my skin is on fire.
Radiating.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This is another one of our favorite ones. It's for kids. Yep.
Kid friendly.
Kid friendly. There you go. So a brown crayon project. So something for the hair, something for the body, something for bathing.
Okay.
So again, all natural,
How do
clean.
you find your retailers for OneKin? I know it's a long process, as you referenced earlier, but how do you go about sourcing the vendors that can be on your platform?
It varies. Our biggest kind of point of attracting vendors is through pop-up markets. So I would say 2017 and 2018 in particular were very popular with pop-up markets, where I think women of color in particular were very diligent about creating spaces for them to patronize each other and to elevate each other. So we would just kind of pop in saying, hey, this is dope. Can we participate? So we would literally buy up the entire shop, buy from everybody, and then take it back to our curation team. And then once they decided that the products were dope, then we would officially introduce the founder to our curation process beyond just testing the product, kind of unpacking their consciousness, understanding their supply chain considerations, understanding kind of their long-term plans for the brand, their scale-up strategy, things of that sort.
Marvin, I like when you say things like unpacking consciousness.
Yeah.
The way that you just work that in so effortlessly into the conversation. Okay, everyone.
Skincare, but make it woke.
Right. I like that. That's exactly what the situation. Unpacking consciousness. Marvin, you need your own talk show. That is beyond fascinating. Everyone, that once again, Marvin Francois, CEO, founder of OneKin. Stick with us though, folks, because we have more advice when it comes to entrepreneurs on Game Changers right after this.
All right, Marvin, before I let you go, what's going on with this shirt you're wearing over here?
It just speaks to my personal ethics. You know,
Oh,
you know,
read it out loud.
a woman's place is in the house and the Senate.
So don't get in your feelings like that. I know, because when I first saw Marvin's shirt, I was like, "Oh, Marvin, you tried
I
it."
was inside a couple times.
Oh, Marvin. But of course, you know we do love having you here.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're back with us on CultureBanx Game Changers. Now let's dip into our entrepreneur keys for e-commerce. Corey?
All right, there are a lot of them. If you were sticking with us while we were talking to the wonderful Marvin Francois of OneKin, he really talked about the curation process, right? And what that means in order to differentiate not just what his platform is doing in the marketplace, but if you yourself are a vendor, a third-party seller, what it takes to unconsciously unpack or pack something up, as he said, in his speech. And that's so vital and important, because when you don't have the right products, whether that be actual clothing, retail, skin care, facial products, healthcare stuff that's really been curated for you by people like you, you know, you're really not as well connected to the products that can really help to rejuvenate you. And I always say, as someone who grew up with like a couple skin issues and really had to find dermatologists that look like me and find products that were made by people like me, it becomes very fascinating. Oh, which just reminds me, and this is a shout out to our upcoming CultureBanx story, is that L'Oreal, you know, the beauty brand, they actually just awarded 3 African scientists major grants to do research specifically on dark skin tones, because the majority of skin tone or product testing is done on lighter Caucasian skin tones and not on darker skin tones. And it's actually very, very fascinating. So there's a market, and it's also because, you know, a continent like Africa, specifically a country like Nigeria, is projected to have the fastest growth population in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. And what's so great about OneKin in particular is that the CEO tests all the products. So you really get that buy-in from the top, and it's really something that he stands behind. It was fantastic having him on set today. I'm Ruth Umo, and this is Corey Hale. Make sure to check out all the savvy business news specifically for the culture at CultureBanx.com. And thanks so much for getting enlightened with some e-commerce shopping gems with Marvin Francois of OneKin.
Yeah, and make sure you catch all of our CultureBanx shows either on Roku, on YouTube, or specifically on CultureBanx.com. Until then, everybody, keep building for the culture, and of course, you can hang back out with your girls next week. See ya.